What I'm about to tell you, most believers are never taught. Not in church, not in prayer meetings, not even in fasting seasons. You can pray with fire, you can cry, you can feel God's presence, and still walk away, having unknowingly delayed your own answer. Not because God ignored you, not because heaven was closed, but because of something small, something subtle, something you did after you said amen. And if you don't catch this early, you may spend years praying for the same thing, wondering why nothing changes. Stay with me, because the final mistake is the one almost everyone is guilty of. Most people think prayer ends at amen, but spiritually, that's where something else begins. There is a moment right after prayer, quiet, unnoticed, almost invisible, where your faith is tested immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, but seconds after you finish praying. You just said, "Lord, I trust you. Lord, I believe you. Lord, I surrender this situation." And for a brief moment, you feel peace. You feel light. You feel like something shifted. But then, your mind starts whispering, what if nothing happens? What if this is just emotional? What if things get worse? That moment is where many answers begin to weaken. Because prayer is not only what you say to God, it's also what you agree with after. The first hidden mistake: doubt after faith. Let's go deeper. You prayed in faith, but moments later you entertained doubt. And here's the dangerous part. Doubt doesn't usually come loudly. It comes quietly, subtly, almost logically. It sounds like, let's be realistic. Don't get your hopes too high. You've prayed before, nothing changed. And because it sounds reasonable, you allow it. But spiritually, something just happened. You released faith in prayer, then immediately cancelled it with doubt. It's like writing something important, then erasing it seconds later. Many believers don't realize this. Faith must be sustained, not just expressed, because one moment of belief cannot override hours of doubt. The second hidden mistake: your words after prayer. Now this is where it gets even more serious, because what you say after prayer matters more than you think. You pray, "Lord, I receive my breakthrough." But later that day you say, "Nothing is working for me. My life is stuck. I don't think anything will change." Listen carefully. Your words don't just describe your reality, they reinforce it. Many people pray once but speak negativity all day, and over time their daily words carry more weight than their occasional prayers. This is where contradiction begins. You ask for healing but keep declaring weakness. You ask for open doors but keep declaring closed opportunities. You ask for peace but keep speaking anxiety. And slowly, without realizing it, you are building resistance against your own prayer. The fourth hidden mistake: emotional instability after prayer. Let's talk about emotions, because this is where many people lose consistency. During prayer, you feel strong, confident, connected. But after prayer, your emotions begin to fluctuate. You see something small and your mood changes. You hear bad news and your faith drops. You compare your life to others and discouragement enters. What happened? You prayed in one emotional state, but lived in another. And here's the truth. Faith is not just spiritual,
It must become emotional stability. Because if your emotions constantly contradict your faith, you will struggle to stay aligned. The fourth hidden mistake: constantly checking for results. This one is subtle but extremely dangerous. You pray today, then tomorrow you start checking. Has anything changed? You look at your situation, still the same. You check again later, still nothing. And slowly, doubt begins to grow, because you expected instant results. But not everything works instantly. Some things take time to align. Some answers are already moving, even though you can't see them yet. But when you keep checking too early, you shift from faith to observation. And faith cannot survive under constant pressure to prove itself.
The fifth mistake: returning to old patterns. Now this is where it becomes very serious. You pray for change, but return to the same habits. You pray for peace, but keep feeding anxiety. You pray for discipline, but continue the same distractions. You pray for transformation, but maintain the same environment. Listen carefully. Prayer opens the door, but your habits decide if you walk through it. You cannot ask for a new life while holding tightly to the old one, because transformation requires agreement. The most dangerous mistake: returning to fear. This is the climax, the one that blocks more answers than anything else. You pray for protection, then go back to worrying. You pray for provision, then go back to panic. You pray for direction, then go back to confusion. Fear is not just an emotion, it is agreement with the opposite of what you prayed. And when you return to fear, you disconnect from the confidence you just built in prayer. Many people don't realize this. You cannot pray in faith and live in fear, because the two cannot coexist. The spiritual principle most people miss. Let's make this clear. Prayer is not magic, it is alignment. Alignment between your words, your thoughts, your actions, your expectations. When these are in agreement, things begin to move. But when they are in conflict, progress slows, and many believers are doing this daily without realizing it. Why people keep repeating the same prayers? Have you ever noticed some people pray the same thing for years, not because they lack faith, but because they reset the process every day? They pray, then cancel it. They believe, then doubt it. They declare, then contradict it. So instead of building momentum, they keep starting over, again and again and again. What should happen after prayer? The correct pattern. Now let's fix it. Here's what you should do immediately after prayer. 1. Maintain agreement. Don't switch sides mentally. 2. Speak carefully. Let your words reflect your prayer. 3. Stabilize your emotions. Don't let circumstances control your faith. 4. Reduce over-checking. Trust the process. 5. Align your actions. Live like you expect change. Pay attention. This is where many people miss it. They focus on praying harder instead of living consistently after prayer. But consistency is what sustains what prayer started. If you don't correct this, you won't stop praying, but you may stop seeing results. Not because nothing is happening, but because you are unknowingly interrupting the process. And the most dangerous part, it feels normal. It feels harmless. It feels like just thoughts,
just words, just emotions. But over time, those small things become barriers. From today, pay attention to what happens after Amen, because that moment is more powerful than you think. Stay in agreement, stay in faith, stay aligned, because your answer may not be blocked by heaven. It may be waiting on your consistency. If this opened your eyes, then you need to hear this next. There is another hidden habit that silently destroys spiritual progress, and almost nobody talks about it. Make sure you don't miss it.